Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Lots of cheating drama over the last few days. Nature and Scump exposing some cheaters last night to try to get them banned ASAP from Call of Duty Ranked, but also Aix giving his perspective on this Atlanta FaZe team losing to the New York Subliners over the last couple of days. Big questions raised. Do they have the dog in them as they need to, especially when it comes down to the grand finals of big events? They've had so many second places over the last few years. Do they have the wrong mentality in order to get back to the top where this team arguably should be? Very much enjoying your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. This is pretty funny, I've got to say as well here. So Skyz and Kismet get 1v2'd here by what SportUpGG says is a ranked kid. But actually, it's not a ranked kid. It's MettalZ. You can see it in the kill feed that this, of course, well, MettalZ, Spanish Methods, coach of the Miami Heretics right now. So I thought that was pretty funny that the coach obviously took down Skyz and Kismet in this one. Maybe he needs to step into the starting team because as it stands, I'm not sure Miami can get too much worse. We also saw the whole fellow grandma thing we talked about earlier today, but you know, even Clay and aBeZy were kind of having a bit of a back and forth on this. But Clay also mentions again the whole, you know, Grayster thing, or, you know, Clay getting called a veteran and the oldest player of all time and all this stuff by the casters all the time. And Clay says, like, to elaborate, it doesn't bother me. My comments weren't to the desk, but also to the casters, because it seems like, you know, the entire broadcast is doing it. As far as Clay is concerned, I just think there's more to me in my career than being the oldest in the league. Talk about something else, which I think is probably fair enough as well. But, you know, it's understandable that the storylines that the casters and the commentators and the desk want to build up for the fans is that, you know, Clay is the absolute veteran of the league, is the oldest man to ever walk the planet and all this, that they try and get across from an esports perspective here. We've got to talk about the cheating stuff though, right? Because, man, it's a messy time, and I feel bad for these boys that are getting on playing ranked every single day because, you know, I mean, what, I have 10 games, 5 or 6 of them might have hackers in at the top level of ranked play. It's an absolute shambles. We know that the anti-cheat doesn't really work. There's a few things you can do. A lot of the players, to be fair, have gone back and just gone into PlayStation, right? I think Havoc did that. Zero's done that as well. Just, you know, got a PS5, go and play that. And even Zero was saying that, well, hackers being in the game, it's a bad look, right? I don't think that Activision can be happy with this situation, but, you know, it doesn't seem like they're really making that many strides to stop it, because some might argue that, well, if there's cheaters in the game, you ban them, maybe they get banned in 6 months or something, then once they get banned, what do they gotta do? Well, buy the game again, or get a new account, buy the game again on the new account, so that's one more sale for Activision. Or if some of the players decide, you know what, we don't want to play on PC anymore because it's riddled with hackers, let's go play on console where it's better, then you gotta buy a console, and then you gotta buy the game again, so that's more money for Activision Blizzard's pocket in some respects. But at the same time, you've got thousands of people watching these guys play cheaters again and again on the broadcast every single day. It's not a good look for anyone. So what's happening here is they're playing these guys, they take them down. Scump's in, Maniac and Nadeshot here, taking down these cheaters on the other side. And one of the guys basically lag switches the server or whatever, which used to be the classic thing you'd do back in the day, get lag switched. But it's kind of a similar, I think that's what a similar thing to what's happened here, really, where the guys made the game lag, so the server dropped. And therefore, despite the fact that they won 3-1, they dropped the server, and so, like, there was no SR given out. No SR loss for this team, no SR gain for Nadeshot and the boys, and yeah, Nadeshot not so happy about it.
Oh, they're lagging it out.
Oh, they tried to lag us. They tried to lag us.
Oh, you
Wait,
dirty
bastards.
You got, if y'all costed this SR, I will make it my entire life's mission to get all 4 of you fucking banned.
Drills is safe. Drills is fine.
I got the Activision IDs. I got 4,000 viewers, and I've got 3 Activision employees that were at my fucking wedding. Good luck.
Oh, my.
Is that Damien without playing with cheaters, or what? That was pretty easy.
Damien. Damn,
Damien.
You're on there, shit.
They got your wall squad on today, huh? Is this what you really put up without it?
It's what you really made of, huh?
This what you're really about?
Did they actually? We're not gonna get SR for this.
We're not.
Oh my god.
Scum of the earth, dude.
Dude, there's no way you guys look at yourselves in the mirror and think, wow.
Damn, that's crazy.
So I wonder if this will go anywhere, right? Like Nadeshot says, like, he knows guys in Activision and he's going to get you guys banned. And I believe that even the pro players, and maybe Nadeshot included, have contacts where they can say, hey, I've just played against this guy, blatant cheating, so can we get him banned? Now, sometimes they're not cheating, and some, I mean, okay, in this case, like, they literally lag switch the server or whatever, but sometimes you think someone's cheating and they're actually not. And maybe they're legit and they're actually cracked. But lots of the time, they are cheating, and it's understandable why the pros get annoyed. And sometimes they're so blatant. Like I've known that Zero's talked about this as well, that he's played against cheaters that are so blatant. He's noted down their Activision IDs. He's saying, look, these guys are literally like spin botting me. Go and ban these guys right now, and then he'll, give the Activision ID to his contacts, and then nothing will happen for a few months. Maybe they eventually get banned, maybe they don't. So, I don't really know what's going on there behind the scenes, but it doesn't feel like the players can just say, all right, this guy's dodgy, have a look into him, and if he's hacking, get rid of him. And, okay, you can't really manually police this whole anti-cheat thing, unfortunately, but there really isn't a better solution, it seems, right now, because it just doesn't work. But there was also lots of talk over the last couple of days about this Atlanta FaZe team, right? I do think there's a tendency for the community to overreact somewhat to when FaZe loses series, because, like, they did lose in 5 to the reigning world champions, but I think there is a little bit more to it than that, based on their performances so far. The fact that they've looked, not shaky, I wouldn't say FaZe, but they've not quite looked like the FaZe that I expected. Let's be honest here, right? When Drazah joined FaZe, the feeling was, and the feeling still should be really, that that's a top quality player. Like Drazah was arguably the best S&D player in the league last year on Thieves, which is pretty ridiculous, but that was actually true for some time based on the numbers. It was obviously a top slayer for those guys as well. So on paper, Drazah comes into FaZe. It makes perfect sense. Drazah and Cell as the AR duo. Drazah's a bit faster, Cell's a bit slower. Makes more sense theoretically than Cell and Slasher, I would say, although Slasher was really good at the latter half of last season. But, Drazah comes in. Sure, they got second at the first event, but they got quite handily beaten by Toronto in the finals, which is a very consistent trend, whoever they play in the finals over the last couple of years. And I guess the question has been, is the mentality for this team in the right place? Are they, well positioned enough to actually take it to the next level? Because, sure, their search and destroy was pretty lackluster, to be honest, most recently. They obviously lost to Subliners in 2 searches, including getting 6-0 slams on the high rise, which was surprising. And let's also not forget, when they played Miami the other day, it could have been a pretty similar story. Like, they lost game 1 sub-base to Miami, 250 to like 151 or something. They then went to a high-rise search and destroy where they were down at 5-4 to Miami, a team that, like, we think is one of the worst in the league right now on high-rise search and destroy. But to be fair to FaZe, they clutched up 6-5 there. I think it was arguably more of just Miami having literally 0 bottle, which is the way that I see it right now, because, they got reverse swept by Vegas the other day. I don't think Miami have any ice right now, maybe even less than Rocker, although that's probably a little bit too far. But still, they go up 5-4 Miami, they lose that 6-5 to FaZe, and then FaZe come back and win the next 2 in a row to take the series. But even that wasn't like, wow, this is impressive by FaZe. And then they played Subliners, and sure, map 1, map 3, very emphatic victories from FaZe. And obviously we know that the talent there is incredible, but just actually delivering that on a consistent basis, especially when the Subliners, over the last, 7 times they played FaZe over the last couple of seasons now, have beaten them, 5 times out of those 7, something like that. Anyway, they have a pretty good record, and when FaZe play the best teams, especially in important games, they don't seem to deliver. So why is that? Is X right?
Why is this FaZe team so disgusting, but they come up short?
I don't think this team is cocky enough. Honestly, like I think they're aware of how good they are on a talent perspective, but I don't think they're cocky enough to where they walk into the venue and they're like, we're the best team here and we're winning this event. I think they walk into the venue now and it's more like, we know we're better than 99% of these teams and we'll make it to the final, every time. Like they need someone to like look them dead in the eye, like repeatedly, and just tell them like, you 4 are the best 4 players in the world. Like no one can with you. And I think that's honestly what's helped Toronto, right? Like we talk about when Scrappy came on board for this team, like Scrappy believes that there is no one in the world better than him at Call of Duty. Like he genuinely believes that. And, that mindset that bleeds into your teammates, right? When you're playing with someone who feels that way, let's take Jamie, like even if you take, or in Envoy, you take someone that's super passive and just mellow and like isn't that vocal about like, cocky and confident. If you have someone like Scrap just having that energy on your team, it bleeds into you no matter what type of personality you have. And it automatically kind of feeds that, like, I'll call it like that voice in your head, right? Where it's like you start believing it. And I think FaZe need that.
Always difficult, of course, to come up with a good explanation for the FaZe, paradox, as it were, in terms of the fact that they have absurdly top talent and the best players in the league for several years, but they just don't seem to win events in the manner that they should do. Now, my feeling has been that this is like a comms thing, but I do think what X has to say has some validity as well. My feeling is that when they play a team like Toronto in the grand finals, when the pressure's really on, I just think that you've got to look where FaZe's weaknesses lie. Their weaknesses don't lie in talent or in anything like that, but I do think they have weaknesses in communication compared to some of the other top teams, and I think you hear that when you go to the listening with them. Now, Drazah has good comms, I think, but I still think that that can hold FaZe back, but maybe there is more to it than that, because at the end of the day, the way they've lost over the last couple of years, Vanguard was, of course, especially criminal. The fact that it didn't matter who they'd play. You know, they'd be losing to OpTic with General, they'd be losing to, Los Angeles Gunners with Spart. Like, it was absurd, the teams they'd be losing to on that game. And I do think that to some degree it's a mentality thing. Like, FaZe get to a tournament, they feel confident they're going to make it to the finals. They get to the finals, and not only do they think, damn, here we go again, like, we're not going to lose again, are we? But also the other team is mega confident because, back in Cold War, whenever you played FaZe, you were scared for your life. You were scared you were going to get put on, one of these adult websites based on how bad they were going to violate you in the series. But after the Vanguard season, I think the feeling of many teams is, well, actually, we can get at FaZe. FaZe are beatable, especially in the grand finals of an event, when the feeling of the team that plays them is that, well, actually, these guys are going to be a little bit concerned. Now, maybe you look at it, the fact that over the last couple of years, when they've lost to Subliners or Toronto or like even OpTic in grand finals, the guys that have played against them have had like legacy series, like HyDra legacy series, obviously Insight legacy series at the Major 1 grand finals that we had in Boston. Same maybe with Illy, shall we say, at the events back in the start of Vanguard, or even Spart, you could argue as well. But, what is that, right? Is it just our FaZe are getting unlucky? They're, coming up against teams that have someone go God mode, or is it like they're opening the door to that possibility? So maybe there's two arguments to this, but I think, expect that when Drazah joined FaZe, we'd have a little bit more to see from FaZe so far, because they don't really look much different, and their record is good, right? And as I say, there are always going to be an element of an overreaction here, because they're second in the league right now. They're still sitting pretty, but I don't know, it's interesting. I just think I expected a little bit more from this team so far than what we've actually seen, and whether it is like a mentality thing, a mindset thing, they don't quite have that dog in them, as it were. And I do think that, Drazah as a player, from like a personality perspective, seems maybe a little bit more mellow on this FaZe team. I don't know. I think X's point that Drazah is coming in here and knows that he's teaming with like the 3 best players in the world, or at least you can make an argument for that over the last few years, has made Drazah think, well, damn, I've got to deliver the results or whatever, like, rather than him feeling that himself is the missing piece to unlock that team to become the best team that there's been, because people were scared for the competitiveness of the league, let's be honest, when this team was put together. But we're not really seeing evidence that that's the case right now. And maybe Drazah is also feeling the pressure. That was the same story for a guy like Slasher and Ferocities and for everybody else they put in that team as well. If things go wrong, I'm the odd man out, right? And that's how it's been. So, and Slasher knew that going into last season, won the event, but as soon as they didn't win champs, Slasher knew that he was probably going to get dropped because, they were going to recycle another player in that role, and maybe this time it's going to deliver, maybe this time it's not. So I think there's definitely a worthy debate on that subject, but, for now, it's only online league matches. FaZe have always been a little bit up and down in their online matches anyway, historically over the last couple of years, but if they go to LAN and get second again, then there is a serious conversation to be had. These are just some numbers as well to show that Simp has been spectacular this year. And to be fair to Cellium, despite the fact that he's had a somewhat lackluster stage by his standards, he only has like a 1.07 Cellium this stage, which is absurdly low for Cellium. Like, that's a 0.8 based on Cellium's normal numbers. So, interesting to keep an eye on. But Simp has top high point KD in the league this season. Cell has number 3 search KD in the league this season. Cell and Drazah have the number 1, number 2 control KDs in the league this season. The less said about the Burger Kings, probably the better here at the bottom of the league, because it's pretty ugly down there, especially from some of the newer boys. But very much interested your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. The new episode of Dope Check as well should be live by the time this video is going live, so I'll leave a link in the description box below so you guys can check that out. And yeah, another phenomenal episode that we put together last night. So hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.